Alrighty, so you're going to learn how to play the trumpet. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use a book called Essential Elements for Band. And this is a book that's used all across the country and probably across the world to teach young students how to play instruments. If you've chosen the trumpet to play, you've chosen a great instrument. It gets better parts than most other, all the other brass instruments really, except you might argue euphonium with their counterlines. But with the trumpet, you'll get to play a lot of melody. It's a very exposed part. You can play it very loud. You also could play it soft if you need to. And so it's very versatile. You use it in lots of different kinds of music. And so the trumpet's wonderful. Now, let's get into it. So, if you are going to play the trumpet, the first thing you want to think about is how you're sitting and your posture. You want to sit up enough that when you breathe, and you can practice this, take some breaths, it's got to be easy to breathe. It's got to be easy to inhale. It's got to be easy to exhale. The deepest breaths that you can take, you want to be in a position to take those. You won't always be breathing as deep as you possibly can, but there's times when long phrases come into effect that you'll want to. All right, so we're sitting in a position, we're upright, and it always talks about in the book, sit on the edge of your chair, but I don't know very many musicians who actually do that throughout their playing career. Typically, a person finds a way to have good posture and sit up without putting themselves into a position that's going to wear them out. All right, so we're going to talk about the horn and the parts. These are the valves, first, second, and third valve. And you can see the horn from there. It has this thumb saddle, which you can move your slide in and out with. You probably won't use that for a little while, but you can correct bad intonation with that. Same thing with the third ring. Now, the second thing we're going to talk about is how are you going to hold this thing? Well, your left hand's going to go on this in a manner where a lot of people will put their ring finger through here. I put my middle finger through there. The book says ring, but it depends on how you have it adjusted if you have an adjustable slide. This works comfortable for me because my hands are the right size to do that. With your right hand, you're going to want to take your horn. You're going to want to put your thumb between the first and second valves. Of course, rest the tips of your fingers on the valves, and then you're going to put your pinky out on top of this hook. The reason you don't put it in there is if you try to move your fingers, you're going to find out real fast that your pinky moves along with them. Well, if you inhibit the movement of your pinky by putting it in this loop, you're also inhibiting the movement of your three fingers. And you'll probably say, oh, I can move them, it's fine. But when you get to playing extremely fast passages later, you can hinder yourself by having your finger in that hook. And so I actually find myself cheating, and if I do have a fast passage, putting it on top and resting it in there at other times. I don't recommend that. It's habits I've fallen into over many, many years. So this is the trumpet. That's what it looks like, and we're going to start talking. Okay, I'm moving from page 3 now in the book. We're going to move to page 4, and page 4 actually has the first lesson in it, and I'll show you that at the bottom of the screen. You'll see lesson number 1. You're going to learn to play the first note, which is called G. Now, G is a note that's played without using any vowels, and so you can just make that sound by, first of all, forming an embouchure. And what you do is you just kind of make this smile with your mouth kind of straight in a line. Pucker just a little bit. Learn to buzz your lips even without putting it on the horn. And once you can do that, once you move the thing up to your mouth, so you'll be able to produce that first tone. Now, something to know about playing trumpet or any other brass instrument is just because you don't push down any valves, you're not automatically getting that G. This is the first note we're going to learn, but you could play G, C, higher C, and you got, and you can play very, very high if you want to, or once you learn how to. Probably not, so it's not just yet, but eventually you'll be able to play extremely high without pushing down any valves, and those get closer together as you go up there. Now, so we're going to work on this G, and here is that first line. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to sustain that note kind of indefinitely. Often your band director will just have you sustain it until they get tired. They'll cut you off, and you'll rest for a little while. Now, if you're going to be playing long notes, a general rule of thumb is that rest as much as you play. If you play for 5 seconds, rest for 5 seconds. It gives time for your lips to get a little bit of blood back into them, so that it helps reduce that tingly, weird feeling you get when you first start playing trumpet. And so, the first note, G. Here's what this exercise will sound like. And then you'll rest. And that'll be at the whim of your conductor. Now, as you learn to play these notes, what you'll want to do is you'll try to produce as nice and pretty of a sound as you possibly can. And in the beginning, your sound's going to be funky and inconsistent and not very stable. And as you practice just holding these long tones like that, and that's what you're wanting to do, you'll hold this tone as long as you can stabilize it. And so that could be for a very long time. I can easily hold a note for 30 seconds. And it's something I encourage my students to do. Set a little timer. See how long you can hold that note. See how pretty you can make it. And there you go. So we're also talking about beats. Now, in each one of these things called measures, and I'm going to circle the measure at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so that's measures. And you'll notice in exercise 2, it's a count and play exercise, and we're going to be on that very same note we just played. But the difference is now we're not going to hold a long note. We're going to play 4 different notes within the same measure, and so we're going to call this a beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're quarter notes. So you're going to go ta, 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 rest, 2, 3, 4, ta, 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 and there's the second line. So it will be like this. Number 2. 1, 2, ready, play. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4, and that is the second exercise. All right, so what you'll do is you can practice that. You can play it along with me on the tape. You can rewind it however you need to do it, and you can play along, or you can just count to yourself and try to get that as steady as you can. You don't want to get going real fast and then slow down and things like that. You want to try to be as consistent in your timing as you can. Now, we're going to move on to the third exercise, and we're going to learn a new note, which is called F. Now we're going to use a valve for the first time. This pointy finger, we're going to push it down. That's the first valve. The note should sound like this. And that is an F. So, you'll notice they did the same thing as they did in exercise 1. You're going to play this note long and sustained, and then you're going to rest a while, and then you're going to play it long and sustained. Typically, your band director is going to go ta, rest, ta, and they'll conduct you that way. And so there you go. All right, so we're going to go ahead, we'll do that one time again, and then we're going to move on to 4. So here's number 3. Okay, and that is number 3. So, or rather, yes, that is 3. So we're going to move to number 4, and this one's called Two's a Team. The reason it's called that is because you're going to play both of the notes that we just learned. The first time, the first 4 notes, you'll play that first valve F, and then you're going to rest, and then that'll give you time to regroup and open up, to no valves, and then you'll play your G. And so we're counting the same way, 4 beats in each measure. So we're going rest, 2, 3, 4, except for I played it wrong. So now, because I wasn't looking at the music, I stayed on the same note. Let's try that again. Okay, number 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, going to do that one more time, and that's just in case you're playing along. 1, 2, ready, play. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4, and that's the fourth exercise. Now, something to know about that is that when we're changing notes like that, we're wanting to go ta. Say the syllable ta. Ta, 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 ta. And that'll use your tongue to cut off the note. And that will work as a separation. You don't want to get into the habit of using your breath to separate notes. A lot of students will go, you don't want to ha, 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 ha. It's a cheat that a lot of students use. Don't do that, though. You want to learn to go ta, 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 and you'll notice is more articulate than you start hooting. That's what I always call it. You start hooting, and you don't want to hoot. So that's the first 4 exercises. We'll go ahead and I want to introduce exercise number 5 to finish up this lesson. And we're going to learn a new note, E. And E is going to use first and second valve. So we're going to play a long E, and we're going to do the same thing as we did in exercise 1 and 3 to introduce the note. We're just going to play it long. Now you'll want to play that note along with me to make sure you are indeed playing the right note and not or. So you could be playing a whole bunch of different sounds, but you want to go. That would be E. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. And then you rest for a little bit. And after your rest, play another E. And that's that. All right. So I lied to you. In order to get through this first page, which I kind of want to do, we're going to go ahead and do moving on up, and it's going to use all 3 notes that we've played. Now, you'll notice this time you're not just playing one measure of notes and then counting one measure of rest. This time you're actually playing 5 quarter notes to start with, and you can count them along the bottom of the page there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to count 3 rests. And then you're going to go back, and you're going to go back starting on that E, first and second, but you're only going to do 2 of them, and on beat 3 you're going to switch to the F, and then on the beat 1 of the next measure you're going to switch to G. So you kind of get a bit of a song going on here, and using all the notes that you have. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at number 6. 1, 2, ready, play. Rest, rest, rest. Rest, rest, rest. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, ready, play. Rest, rest, rest. Rest, rest, rest. And so that's the first page of the book. That'll make for a pretty good lesson. If you have to break that up into a couple of different lessons to make sure that you get everything just right, I would recommend doing that. And if not, depending on how long you're planning on practicing a day, I recommend a half an hour if you can. You might be able to get through that lesson. But if you can't, it's no big deal. Just take it at your own pace. If all you get through is the very first line, then just come back to it the next day and practice the second line, and so forth and so on. So you're going to learn at your own pace. But we're going to call this lesson 1, and that's page 4 of Essential Elements for Band. And I will talk to you in the next lesson. Have a great day.